In Diablo 2, there are a lot of items, some awesome, some mediocre, and even some that make you go, why? While there will be videos about the others, today we're going to talk about that last one, with the top 5 unique weapons that make me wonder just how drunk their designers were. These are far from the only ones in the game, so be sure to tell me what items leave you in that perpetual question mark over your head state, and they may just show up in future videos. As for my list, here we go in no particular order. Number 1, Grimm's Burning Dead. This is probably the only one on the list that I actually have some idea as to why it was made like this, and that's because the Necromancer used to always use scythes in the original promo material, and they probably felt bad that they didn't keep that theme up, you know, Grim Reaper and all. I also wanted to get it out of the way since it's the least weird of the batch, mostly just being mediocre. The big question mark comes in the realm of there only being a couple potential builds that would get any use out of this item as it is, since the stats are all over the place with the expected enhanced damage, some elemental damage, attack rating, etc. that is expected from melee weapons, albeit in lower amounts, but also with a randomly tossed on +3 necro skills, a pinch of enhanced defense, and an insignificant amount of damage return. At least they remembered to give it a requirement reduction, so it's slightly more likely than never that a Necro somewhere might have a use for this. Number 2, Earthshaker, one of the few one-handed weapons that has such a strong go-home weapon you're drunk energy. Earthshaker is the Diablo equivalent of the wizard that takes True Strike in D&D. Basically, it's got good features on it in general, just not good features for the form factor it is in. Earthshaker has blind target, knockback, cast fissure, even some increased attack speed and damage boost, which as a whole don't really combine that great if you're going to use it for melee, since knockback means you're going to have to move, which makes you easier to hit. But it's also weirdly combined with +3 elemental skills as well, a tree with no real benefit from any of these melee attack boosts. Number 3, Earthshifter. If Earthshaker was drunk, Earthshifter is on the good stuff. Massive strength requirement, enhanced damage, crushing blow, increased attack speed. Sounds normal for a big freaking hammer, right? What about the faster cast, more fissure, and even more plus elemental skills? 7, in fact. This weapon leaves me wondering who attached a trash can to Meng Songs and called it macaroni. Generally speaking, if you have the strength to use this, you're not a caster, and you can have half the strength, a shield, and get better modifiers while, like I said, keeping a shield. All with the items much easier to find than this particularly kinda rare hammer. Number 4, this one and the next one I always end up getting way too many of, and that is Frostwind in this case. Overall, it's a mediocre cold damage sword with a little attack speed boost, not objectively terrible since it at least chills and freezes its target, deals a bit of damage and absorbs cold. And oh, did I forget to mention it's one of the 2 weapons with potential to create the Immortal Barbarian? Yeah, that's right, it has Arctic Blast, which you can expect to do near 0 damage and just cram up your spell blocks, honestly. At least it's one-handed though, right? Number 5, Flame Bellows. Yeah, you probably saw this one coming with the intro to the last one. Needless to say, this is basically the fire damage equivalent of Frostwind, but also two-handed. This at least could theoretically make some sense on a Fireclaw Druid, though its attack speed would be absolutely abysmal compared to other options. It still sits with that weird we want to use a useless spell via weapon option, though it is the only way for a barbarian to get level 36 Inferno. Weirdly, neither this nor Frostwind are the worst item on the list, but I think they get a bit more limelight considering I found at least one a day of each of these while magic finding lately, leaving me wondering where the rest of my elite uniques are, making me give them quite the sus eye. So what do you think are the best designed or worst designed weapons in the game? Tell me down below, and if you want to see more D2 videos, hit that like button and tell YouTube that you like the game.